Hello and welcome to Thursday. Today we are back outside because the rain has thankfully ended. It's bright sunshine once again. And actually one of the more interesting things I think is that we have the entire group. I got Mal and Lindsay behind me and everyone else in front. And we're currently on our way to the station to go to the Ghibli Museum, which should be fun. All of us have varying levels of Ghibli movie experience, so it'll be interesting to see how each of us enjoy it in different ways. But supposedly the museum is very good. They probably don't allow anything, so it'll just be us talking about it later. It's pretty difficult to get tickets. You have to get them in advance. So Chaz actually talked to someone online who lives in Japan who could go pick them up, and then met up with him. So it was not an easy thing to get a hold of them, but the advantage is now that we have them, so we can go see the museum and see exactly what's there and what it's all about. So we just finished up at the Ghibli Museum. Me, Mal, Lindsay, and Dan finished up. The rest of our group is still in there. It was interesting. It was interesting coming from the perspective, me and Lindsay are in the same boat, where we've each seen the Arrietty, I don't remember the other words, the Arrietty movie many years ago, and we haven't seen any other films since then. So
I've only seen like 3.
Oh, you've seen... I thought you'd seen more.
Totoro, Ponyo, and Moving Castle.
But those are like 3 of the really popular ones.
Yeah, I guess.
That was the one thing that struck me as interesting, is that like there's been a bunch of Ghibli films, and the museum to some degree shows all of them, but really focuses on just a few, like the really popular ones. So Dan, you probably got a lot more, like exponentially more out of that than me and Lindsay did.
Yes.
Because we saw one of the least popular Ghibli films, it seems.
I've seen like 7 of them.
Okay.
And my favorite is Howl, and there wasn't a whole lot of stuff for that either, so.
Yeah. Totoro's the cat, right?
I saw like one
Totoro's
it's not a cat, but it's kind of, it looks like a cat, kind of.
The gray one with the umbrella.
The cat bus is a different one.
That's part of the same movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
crap.
Is it?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not the same character.
No, they're different characters.
We'll have a post-museum trip. not movie marathon, but like we'll have...
I mean, certainly I would say if you've seen the Ghibli films, you would obviously enjoy this museum more. That being said, the museum's kind of small, especially for the price. I would recommend it to super diehard fans of Ghibli. Like, if that's your jam, you see the movies and you love the movies, then you should visit. If you've only seen, maybe just a few, and it's you like it, but you're like, I don't know, I'd probably skip it, just because the museum's actually kind of tiny. The stuff that they have in here is very interesting, and coming from the perspective of someone who's only seen one of the less popular ones, it was still cool. And actually, one of my favorite parts is the architecture, because it's really neat in there.
The architecture's really cool.
But like everything else, I was like, this is neat, but it's hard to appreciate having not seen the films. So
I completely agree. Having seen only the one. The architecture is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But everything else is just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of things in there that talk about like the animation process, and if you're not familiar with that, then it's really neat. But I am familiar with it, so it's just like, oh, okay.
I'm not familiar with it, and it was just like, neat.
Yeah.
Not like really neat.
Normal neat. Mal was explaining that Ghibli apparently does their, even like the modern movies are done like the old way.
I'm pretty sure they are.
pretty sure.
There might be one or two that weren't. I think they weren't received well. I'm pulling from depths of memory here.
I mean,
So-
that's interesting. I think that's really cool. And certainly it's a very time-consuming and presumably expensive process. But yeah, that's my take on it from the perspective of someone who has seen one movie and the movie was not very well received because they mention Arrietty almost none.
At least once.
Yeah. They show all the movies at the beginning of the museum, like the history of them,
Yeah.
and then for most of it, it's covering like 3 or 4 movies, and I never really saw Arrietty again. So that was just not as popular as Totoro. Anyway, so now we're gonna go
On to Broadway. Jazz hands.
We're gonna go to Nakano Broadway. I think everyone else is gonna join us shortly.
Yeah.
But that's the big like indoor shopping mall that's got all the anime, manga, games, statues.
Figurines.
Yeah, figurines.
Let's
So that's next. Well, we made it. Nakano Broadway was probably one of my favorite parts of Japan last time. There's just such a wonderful collection of things here. So we're going to spend some time and see what we can find. I'm sure there's some GameCube games here. Might find maybe some Mother figurines. Do you have anything else you're looking for?
There's some PS2 games I'm looking for,
Okay.
and some PS1 games.
Dan, how about you? Anything that you're trying to find?
Any kind of like little Nintendo figurines would be cute.
You're in the right spot. So we just finished up at Nakano Broadway. Probably in there for 90 minutes? About 90 minutes or so. I'm a little disappointed, honestly. I think it's because I was hoping to find at least something in there, but there was only one game shop. There's a game shop leading into the thing, and then there's one game shop inside of it. And I feel like last time I was here, the prices in that game shop were a bit better. And they're very expensive now. So that was a little disappointing. So I didn't really find anything. They did have some interesting games. They had Pepsi Man, which is one I'd love to pick up, but it was too pricey. And they had LSD, which is another one I'd love to pick up, but is like 4 times the price of Pepsi Man. So didn't get those, but it's cool to see them. To be like, oh, you do exist somewhere. But yeah, didn't pick anything up. They had a few some other things in some of the stores. I was hoping to find some of the big figures. They didn't have any of those. I saw a few small ones and I saw a bunch of keychains, but otherwise, nothing in particular. Did you guys end up getting anything?
I got a coffee mug.
Okay.
I got a couple of gachapon, but like in the plastic thing. You know how they like individually sell them?
Oh yeah. You bought pre-opened gachapon.
Yeah. But and they were from gachapons that I had bought like a couple of days ago with like Chaz and Jeff.
Okay.
And they're like, I don't know. I'll have to show them like once we get home.
Okay. Is it like from a series, like Zelda
yeah,
or something?
It's like a series of like bowing animals.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
pretty great. I got the whole set at Very Least. So.
That's one of the things that, if you're looking for that sort of thing, they have at Nakano is pre-opened gachapon. They have everything. I mean, we saw basically complete sets of all the other ones, and those are more rare. They had all sorts of other stuff in there. So if you're looking for something that you saw in a machine once in Japan, it's almost certainly in there. But Chaz and Jeff and Alex and Haley are still in there, I think. But we're going to be leaving here shortly, and we're going to be going to do a sake tasting type thing. I'm not exactly sure. Chaz set it up, but it should be a good time.
He's a man.
Oh. Also, I don't know if 8 of us can fit in this elevator, so we might have to do 2 trips.
How far? Where are they now?
We're here at Karan Sake Market. The staff have kindly let us in early, so there won't be anyone else here while we're filming. This was what the staff recommended for first time, so since it's Dan's first time for sake, and I think Lindsay's first time for real sake, right?
Yeah.
And maybe everyone's first time for good sake, so we'll try this. So it's definitely a crisper taste. It's closer to like almost like a Sauvignon Blanc or something in traditional wine language. I love Choco, which is one they serve at room temperature. It's an aged sake, so you can see it has a little bit of a different color. It has a little bit of a different color. And they'll serve it to you along with chocolate, because it apparently tastes really good with chocolate. So. Oh yeah, the aged is a different quality. I love chocolate, so I'm a fan of this. Well, that's not the only way they serve it. You can also get it served, as she's preparing over there, with ice cream. So we're going to give that to Dan, because Dan deserves ice cream.
It's got this like really good chocolate overtone. It's really tasty, and the ice cream's great. It's just pretty magical, I guess would be the word.
Nut cheese. I saw that. I was like, why does it say cheese?
It goes well with cheese.
So I'm gonna get this going first. That does go with cheese. As promised. It's not like it's white wine-esque, but I never thought about sake going with cheese before, but this works. It's really interesting. I was not expecting sake and cheese ever.
That was fun and unique. Special thanks to all of the folks at Karan Sake Market for hosting us.
It was so nice.
Thank you.
It was so
so good, and we expanded our sake palettes so much.
And
Thanks
if
to their help.
They're in Shinjuku, just a short walk from Shinjuku.
yeah, I was gonna say if you're ever in the Shinjuku area in Tokyo, you absolutely owe it to yourself to come here and check out this place for yourself. All right, on to more activities. You're like, you fell straight to sleep.
I'm falling straight to sleep.
I see that. God, after the last clip, all we really did
Was breakfast stream.
No, I was gonna say went to book off.
Oh yeah, that's how long ago the last clip was?
Yeah.
Okay.
We finished the sake thing, and then at that point, I was on a mission to go to every book off in Shinjuku, and I did. Scary.
I went to Loft.
And Mal went to Loft.
Yeah.
But that was seriously. I've been going to the book offs because I've been trying to find GameCube stuff, and
You're on a mission.
well, I'm having an increasingly less stuff. Decreasingly less. Every book off I go to has less stuff than before, and the final book off I went to had no GameCube games, and I was like, oh god, something's gone wrong. But that's okay. That's okay. I've exhausted a lot of the book offs in the area. There's so many though. You're very tired.
I'm very tired.
That's fair.
We walked over 10 miles.
Yeah, it was a long day. As one final thing, Chaz and Jeff went to a tower.
Tokyo
8
Municipal, I don't know, something
anyway,
like that.
Jeff got some really cool photos up in the tower, so I think we're going to end on those photos, and you guys can enjoy those. Thank you so much for watching. I need to get some sleep because there's even more happening tomorrow. And let's meet back then, shall we?